Okay, I'm on a rainy day on a Friday afternoon with my pal Pablo, who's going to ask me a lot of questions, and I have hopefully all the answers. So where do we go from here, Pablo?
I hope so, Mr. Belanger. Thank you for the introduction. I was going to ask you, what's your favorite movie, American movie?
My favorite movie is The Ten Commandments, starring Charleston Heston, and it was a Cecil B. DeMille's movie in the early 70s, and it's still popular to this day.
That's right. That's the one.
It's the story of Moses and his exodus out of Egypt. Very well done, Technicolor. Yeah, it's 2.5 hours long.
Technicolor, 2 hours and a half. That's great. All right. All right, Mr. Belanger. What's your name and what year and place you were born?
Good question. My name is Robert D. Belanger. Belanger is the English version of Belanger. It's French. I was born in Westchester County, 1939.
Well, that's good.
Westchester County is in the state of New York, for people who are not familiar with Westchester County.
Thank you for that, please.
Yeah.
Where did your parents came from?
Okay. My mother was born in Connecticut. Her parents came from Italy, from Calabria in the 1900s. So, although she was born in Connecticut, her parents are immigrants from Italy. Now, they had 11 children. My mother was one of 11 children. Okay? So, all the ethnic background is the Roman Catholic, and the foods that they eat is indicative of that time that was in Italy. It's still carried on to this day. On my father's side, he was born in Brockton, Mass. His parents were from Canada, French Canadian. My grandmother's grandmother was a full-blooded Cayuga. What is Cayuga? It's a tribe that's in the Iroquois Nation along the St. Lawrence River. So I have enough blood, Indian blood, that I can apply for federal aid. Yeah. Yeah. So here we have French Canadian and Italian, and then comes me. So I have both types of immigrants from different areas. So parents came from France to Canada, so they're French Canadian. So when I say Cayuga, Cayuga is one of the 5 tribes that make up the Iroquois Nation. And what they're noted for is the longhouses. Very interesting. And believe it or not, they're the first democracy in the US of A, is the Iroquois Nation.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where your mother from.
That's my grandmother on my father's side.
Father's side.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
They're Roman Catholic, and my mother's side is Roman Catholic. On my father's side, there's a whole myriad of priests and nuns in the family. Big.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
So you are a believer. You believe in God and follow the religion.
am. Okay, if you want to talk about religion, brought up Catholic. Okay, I wasn't satisfied with what I was hearing from the priest. I needed more. So I went to Baptist church, Holy Roly church, born again Christian church, you name it, I went through. And what I gleaned out of people who were more into the word, I became what I call myself a born again Catholic. So I read the Bible, King James Version. I read new NIV, which is new version, International Version NIV, and the Torah. I read the Quran, and I'm more convinced now that there is a God and we have a purpose. But at the same time, you have to be sensitive to people who have different ideas, because you don't want to espouse your belief on somebody that doesn't. The only thing you can give somebody else is a good example.
I completely agree with you. How about if I tell you that for me religion is a matter of geography?
If you told me you were a Jehovah's Witness,
Religion is a mother of geography.
I never heard of that.
It's for me, it's like where you're born is
Okay.
what religion you adapt.
Okay.
What do you think about that? So,
Well,
in
that's-
order to immigration,
That sounds more like something in West Africa, more tribal. And that could come from that because the seed of civilization is West Africa and they migrated into Europe. So there's a lot of things that's still tribal, and even some of the slaves went to South America brought that with them. So it's understandable. But you know, what really counts, are you a good person or you're not a good person? So if you're a good person, I'm fine. I'm fine. I have no prejudice of race, color, or creed. Never had, never will. If you're somebody that's very sad, and my mother told me when I was a kid, if you see somebody sad, without a smile, give them yours. So it doesn't matter. Because there's a lot of people who really have no religion, whatever, but they're very respectful of property. They follow the laws. I mean, that's you know, you got to be socially kind. You don't have to love everybody, but as long as you're kind, that means a lot. And I don't see much of that anymore. Less of, put it that way. Fire away.
probably meaningful for many immigrants, but as well to you, I think it's going to be relevant. What's your American dream?
My American dream, well, I'll tell you what my American dream is. In elementary school, you're really not cognizant of what your dreams are, other than making money and being famous. And everybody at that age wants to be important. But really, it's more important to be kind. However, not diversing from that, when I went to college, the courses I took is a Civil War and Reconstruction, about a bloody war, the South killing each other, like for what? Okay? I took courses in West African history about the slave trades. At that point in time in college, what I became more aware of is man's worst enemy is man. So my hopes and dreams that, although it may not be realistic in the real world, is that everybody is kind to each other. That's my American dream. I don't want anything for myself because we're just passing by. No matter what you own, no matter how much money, how many buildings, you just borrowed it. So if you live 100 years and you're perfectly healthy, you should think about what happens when you leave this planet, which is forever and ever and ever. So should your focus be where you're at or where you're going? That's my American dream. Of course, you can debate that. You could say it's unrealistic. It's looking through rose-colored glasses. Doesn't matter, because that's my opinion. You know, you don't have to love anybody, but you sure can be kind to everybody, and I think that would go a long way. So, what is your next question?
Great answer. Thank you very much. And that's a lot of beautiful thoughts together that I relate to. Well, the next question is based on your experience traveling the United States and seeing, of course, a bunch of immigrants from your perspective. Well, what's your best experience in the United States
Okay.
with immigrants?
Being a facilities manager, I've traveled just about every state. I've been out of the United States, Mexico, England. So I have a pretty wide range of travel inside and outside the United States. I've have friends, very good friends that are Chinese. I have very good friends, Spanish, black, you name it. I even have friends that are Muslims and tell me, why do I hate him? And I said, I really don't hate you, you know? So again, it goes back to my American dream. Let's you know, some people's, their mind is made up and they're so prejudicial that the facts will only confuse them. They don't want facts. But I've dealt with, well, 65 years in the business. I dealt with a lot of people, and a lot of businesses. People from France, people Chinese, you name it. Listen, people are people. This color of your skin and where you're born, we're all made by one person. God made us all. One person is no better than another person. When I look at a person, I say, you are equal to me and I equal to you. It doesn't matter your education. Because I have a lot of college, I have a lot of degrees, but I don't know enough. When you go to college, one thing you get out of it, you learn how to learn. And when you learn how to learn, you find out how little you know. So you're always humble. And I find dealing with people per se, people really don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. Respect of every human being will take you far more distance in financial wealth, whatever it is, or social abilities. Yeah, that's my perspective. Again, there's always a counter argument. This guy's crazy. That doesn't matter. So my life's experience gives me my thoughts, and however, no matter how much you know, you should be receptive of new ideas. You know what I mean? Because you can't be focused linear. If you have something new comes in, you take it in, you weigh it. How does it affect you? You have to be receptive. They asked Ben Franklin, who was one of the greatest minds of his time, who was wise? His answer was, he who learns from all. And I'll always remember that saying. Guess what? It works. Again, like I say, life is so short. When you really take a look at it, as you get older, you're getting closer to the grave, you start saying to yourself, I didn't think about that. Hey, I got like 40 years left, and it's, I got 20 years left. And then you say, hey, wait a minute, I don't know how much I got left. Thoreau, one of the greatest minds, was asked, what is the meaning of life? His answer was, no more than a spark between two eternities. And it shows you, conceptually, life is like that. Make use of your time. And I tell young kids, there's going to be two pains in your life. One of discipline and one of regret. Choose your weapon. Don't waste your time, because you can't make a lot of money and buy it back. You can't waste time, put it in a drawer and save it and use it later. No. Now is the now. Be happy what you have. Be thankful what you have. And if you have your health, you're a millionaire. And if that's a concept, is your health is everything, you don't care what you have, what you don't have. You walk around with an attitude of gratitude. Of course, some people think you're a little silly because you're laughing all the time. But that's me. That's me.
What do you think about the term legality, taking into account that 100 years ago, slavery was legal?
Well, okay. If you want, what is the evolution of history? You know, you can go back to the Dark Ages. I mean, and you could even go back to the Catholic Church, where the Pope had a sword, and if you didn't believe in Christ, you cut your head off. So I mean, what's with that? So slavery, the concept that a white male, or well, let's say white males, those are the slave traders, thought for some reason or other, the ignorance that black people came from monkeys or something. They were inferior, they didn't have the same intellect, they should be used as a workforce. So they got on a bandwagon, it became an economic thing. Hey, get a slave, they can work. Not thinking about people and spirit. And so as time came and we had demonstrations, we had changes made where people at one time couldn't be at the front of the bus, they had to be the back of the bus. Then you had Martin Luther King, you had changes, and the new generation says, hey, these are people. So at the time it was legal because of total ignorance. Today, we're much smarter. We know there's no difference between black or white or green or whatever. Matter of fact, we have great politicians, great athletes, and they're black. And they're respected. Now, a person in the slave trade would never think that would be possible 200 years from that point. So it's strictly a total of prejudice and ignorance and financial. They took these slave trade. The Holocaust was 6 to 8 million people killed because they convinced the German people, the Jews, were the reason that the economy, and they had troubles with the economy, it was because of the stingy Jews. Of course, that's evil. Now, 6 to 8 million people. The statistics show more than 60 million slaves were killed, and a lot of them died on a ship coming from Africa to Portugal, to the New World. So it's horrible. It's horrible. But yes, it was legal because they made money and they thought black people were inferior. I mean, could you imagine that? You tell a young kid that, a black kid, is what, he crazy? So it has an evolution of people becoming more civil, more educated. They know more about the human body. They know now they find a difference. But I think really it has to do with a very bad concept of what black people were at that time. And listen, if you could buy a slave for $25 and they're in your house, they do all the cleaning, where are you going to get that? So it was greedy. It was just greed. And I'll tell you something, it's horrible to see the way they treated black people. Horrible. Brings tears to your eyes, you know? With the KKK, I mean, the millenniums now, they don't even want to think about that. They think there's something wrong. So, the way it turned out, unfortunately, they had to go through these pains, but we're in a position now, there's equality. I mean, equality per se. Somebody's always going to have a different, kind of a bias. We're all biased to a certain extent, Some guys like girls with blonde hair. They're biased. So what the hell's the difference between blonde and black hair? Nothing. And you have to always protect yourself to be always objective, always considerate, and listen more than you talk, because we have one mouth, but we have 2 ears. So we should listen twice as much as we talk. What is your next question?
That's great. It's a lot to process through the immigration perspective you have. About that, what do you think about the immigrants that are illegally living in the States? How about if the government decides to give them nationality? Do you think that is relevant? More than relevant, do you think that would be a good resolution to the conflict of immigration in the U.S.?
Okay, from what I know, from what I read, from what I hear, from what I see over a period of the years, the system of immigration was always good for this country. We took people from Poland and Irish, and they all have a contribution, okay? But when it gets to the point where you have people come to the country with bad intent, you have to have borders. You've got to have borders, and you have to have a system, a legal system, to protect a country. You have borders. So, the people who came over the line illegally and been here many years, what they call the DACA, they pay taxes, they're good people. I see more people that don't have papers in church than people who were born here and don't even want to give a dime to a Salvation Army. So, what we should do is make the system work. And the people that are here have a pathway to citizenship. If you do this and this and this and this, yes, you don't throw people out. You got little kids, they're human, you can. be kind, be merciful, adjust your laws where it's fair to everybody, where the country's protected and the people are respected. And the ones that, if you have somebody goes over the border to Mexico with drugs, he wants to make money. And you have somebody in India that's a doctor, a neurosurgeon, that has to wait 8 months before he gets there. So he's saying, hey, these guys are walking across the border, what about me? So these are the arguments people make. But any country, it's funny, if a Mexican goes across the United States, we usually, most cases, unless they're a crime, bring them back. If an American doesn't have papers and he has no intention, he's not a traveler, he's in Mexico, they put him in jail. So they have stricter laws than we have. So, because they have other concerns too. They have other difficulties. But no, be fair, have a pathway to citizenship for DACA, and yes, give them a pathway to citizenship, definitely, without doubt. You don't just put everybody in boats and get out. That's crazy, because you'd be hurting yourself, because there's a lot of low-paying jobs done by very hard work. Let me tell you something. I've seen more people from Ecuador, Guatemala. They're so family-oriented, they're such hard workers, and they make very little money, and they never complain. You know what I mean? And you get kids born in the United States, and you give them a job, they don't want to do it. Oh, it's too hard. So, I look at it this way. I don't care where you came from. What is your attitude? You're in this country, going to be American, then salute the flag and respect. And if I went to France and became a French, I would salute their flag. So it's a matter of respect,
That's right.
Okay.
I completely agree, and
Yeah.
I relate to it too. Thank you. According to what you mentioned, and what it's going now, actually with war wars, and the office of presidency in the United States, what is your short opinion about our president, or actual president?
Okay, good question. First of all, I know him. I worked with Donald Trump before he was president, because my interaction was a business deal when he was buying the Briarcliff Country Club, and I was the manager in the building where he used my heliport. So I know him. The guy is he's a phenom. Talking to him in 5 minutes, you like him right away. But he has to know how long you've been there. Who owns that company? In a nice way. He takes in information. He decides. He's brilliant. Now, I seen how Democrats act. What they say, those are the people the working guy, the big unions, then the Republicans are supposed to be more for the wealth. That's all baloney. I am neither. I'm an independent. If a Democrat, I feel like John F. K. will do a better job, I'll vote for him. I don't care. I don't have no political affiliation with anything. So, as far as Donald Trump, the guy is he's a businessman, and he is perceived now a rebel. When he gave an inaugural speech, they were going, wait a minute, you're a Republican, you're putting us down. Who the hell are you? So he's focusing on one thing: get the country back where it was. Prosperous, a lot of the jobs. Everything he says is true. Well, statistics prove that. Go in any store, shoes, dress, China. What does that mean? And I don't blame China. It's not China. They're not bad people. But when a corporation says, let's make more money, they choose to go to China to make more profits. If you were to take a company like, let's say, Pepsi-Cola. If Pepsi-Cola had said to their stockholders, we want to open up a 1 million square foot bottling plant in Sheboygan, Illinois. But your dividend is going to be flat for 2 years. This is a $30 to $70 million project. Or we can go to Beijing and put it in Beijing, you get a return of 12% right away. You know what the answer would be? Go to Beijing. So who's the bad guy? The Chinese? They're not the bad. Chinese people are good people, believe me. So it's American greed that caused us the problem, and Donald Trump is trying to get out of it. The only thing is, his personality is less than, that's what turns people off. You're ugly, you're stupid, and a lot of times I go to myself, oh my God. But what has he done to, he's hopefully on a pathway to do something that no president ever done, is get the Koreas united and get this threat of nuclear power. He's going to meet. That's unheard of because his character, it's something different. And he's effective, but I don't agree. I mean, you shouldn't make fun and that's his personality. It's a business. He thinks the way he operates is on a business conference. Don't tell me that, you jerk. I mean, he's honest. He's a very honest guy. He really loves this country. He wants to. I know that, but his delivery is less than. I mean, he scares people. Oh, what's he going to say next? He's going to tweet. But we have to look at the whole picture. What has happened? We're getting more jobs. I mean, this could fall through. You don't really know. But at this point, this has become changed. This has become changed. This has become changed. Jobs are coming back. The taxes changed. Like, who is this guy? So what I see it is, I'm not in love with any politician, but I see what he's doing at this point in time is very effective. He's gained respect for other countries. He doesn't say red line. He says, if you go over there, I'm going to hit you. Oh, really? Boom. He hits Syria. If you do it, they're going to hit you again. So he's got everybody on their toes. This guy he means business. He says what we need. So hopefully, I think, when I see him, he's becoming to know how to be a politician. He's learning. He even says, I'm a businessman. I didn't think I'd be president. What the hell do I need this job for? I'm getting $1 a year, and I make $40 million. So what do I need this? So he doesn't need it. So, but he wants to fix the country. That's you can talk to a liberal, and they've been saying to me, what's wrong with this guy? This is only my opinion. What I don't like is when I'm seeing polarization. What I see now, you have a political civil war going on, where one party says, my mind's made up, don't confuse me with any of your facts. I don't see that mutual dialogue. It's terrible. You know what I mean? That's what scares me. It's them against us. It reminds me of the Civil War, the Yankees and the rebels. I see they get only politically, not it's not arms. That I don't like. That shouldn't be. Years past, a Republican had something, the Democrats supported him. The Democrat came in, the Republicans supported him. They compromised. Now it's like they're saying the rhetoric is gutter stuff. You're a jerk. That's bad because the young kids see that, and you're influencing young kids. Politicians, you're a liar. You should be impeached. You're no good. You're a jerk. That's bad. I don't like that because from the old school when I see that I'm benchmarking what is now, and of anything, styles change, music changes as you get older. You have to accept it. If you're an oak tree and a big wind comes by, it's going to be strong enough to knock the oak tree down. That means symbolic of a person that won't change their mind. They're steadfast. They won't be objective. But if you're a willow tree, no matter what wind is, you bend. You never break because you're objective. Music changes, style changes, but what scares me is the 10 Commandments are now the 10 suggestions. I can do 1 and 3, but I can't do 4. Who the hell put you in charge? That's what scares me, the moral breakdown. But that's only my opinion.
Great, and thank you for that.
Okay.
Accordingly to that, what do you think about Donald Trump's agenda in immigration?
Well, he's a deal maker. He's a deal maker. When he says, I'm going to end DACA and this, now, from my perspective, he says the same thing about the tariff. I'm going to put it on aluminum, I'm going to put it on steel, I'm going to do this. And the first reaction is, what's this guy? He has no intention. He's a deal maker. When he talks about immigration, I'm going to send everybody back, he wants the politicians to say, look, we better fix this, because nobody fixed it. If we don't fix it, he's going to throw them out. He ain't going to throw anybody out. That's the way he makes the deal. South Korea, he says, look, you're bringing all these cars, you're bringing all this stuff, LG stuff from South Korea, we're going to put tariffs on it. Wait. They made a deal. There's no tariff. He's going to make a deal with all of them. He used that scare. Listen, the guy's not, he's not stupid. You can't take 16 million people or 12 million people and get them out. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do this? You go have a depression. He knows that. But that way he talks, he wants a deal. And that's how he gets his deals.
Do you think that these people that is in here illegally should be granted with citizenship?
It's case by case. You can't, you don't one stroke say all of them. What you do is you have to have some criteria, some benchmark. When did you come here? What do you do? Are you paying your taxes? Are you committing any crimes? If that falls into the realm of good guys paying their taxes, give them a pathway. Because if you take listen, there's more good guys here illegally than bad guys. You hear more about the bad guys, but you don't hear about the thousands and thousands of people working in these fast foods, breaking their chops, making little money. So if you were to say, okay, here's the trains, everybody out, the economy would be devastated. And Donald Trump knows that. He knows that. And he ain't gonna risk that. Whatever he says, he's looking for a deal to have these congressmen from Democrats do something about it. We'll do it later. He wants to fix it now. Because his focus is on do what you gotta do, but also have a better legality coming in. Be fair. Why are you coming? Like no other country. Anybody who's American born wants the people, whoever coming in, to respect their flag, their country. And 99% of the people that I see that become citizens do that. If you went to France, Germany, or any place in European, if you're a Frenchman and you want a citizenship, you better salute their flag and sing their national anthem, or you're a bad guy. So it's universal. People are people, give people a break. And if you have a better system, a vetting system, then it becomes more fair to everybody. Everybody has to wait the same time. So the people that are here that are illegal and they're doing what they should do, they shouldn't be hiding and sneaking around. Somebody's going to get them. That's terrible. That's horrible. I can imagine, I got a job. I don't have papers. I'm worried that somebody's going to knock on the door and take my kids away. That's horrible. We have to settle that. To say, okay, we will find a pathway. For right now, nobody's going to take you out of here. And that'd be, that's a godsend. Politicians are not doing what they're supposed to do. They should have terms for senators, in my opinion, and House of Representatives. They make it a career. Elected. What do you know what I mean? When you put somebody, you change, you get new ideas. This shouldn't be a career. Because most cases, if it's a career, you're thinking more about your job than the people that you're serving. You get new blood in there. It's like a teacher. You get a teacher, first 5 years, they're gung-ho. After a while, the kids drive them crazy. The parents drive them crazy. The superintendent of schools, they don't want to. So, cycle. Get new people and new ideas.
According to that, you think it will be good or bad to the economy of U.S.?
If you did,
if they are granted by the government.
if you had a pathway for citizenship,
Yeah.
you have no other choice. You can't. That's the only way to go. Because the other way is you're going to hurt the economy, and what do you get out of it? Count how many people are in fast foods that most likely are not totally legal. If they all leave, who's going to have the job? You won't have. Burger King will be no more. McDonald's will be no more. Restaurant, like, what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? Theoretically, let's say that happens. You know what the American-born people are going to say? What the hell's going on? Bring those people back. I want my burger. They have no pay. I don't care papers. Like, bring them back. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Do something that's fair to everybody, that's compassionate, treat people the right way. Could you imagine little kids worried? Oh, did they come again? You know, that's horrible. That's horrible. Yes, there should be a pathway, and they're an asset to the community as well as the nation. You have people in Masri that dress up every Sunday, they bring their family. I don't see a lot of Americans doing that. I don't see. So to me, they're good people.
Right. Thank you very much for all your answers.
My pleasure. My
It's
pleasure.
been a great interview, plus a great experience to get know you better. I know we know already for 5 years, 6 years.
Even more now, I think.
From work, and you know I'm from Colombia. You know my background. I mean certainly, you know some of my
Sure.
family histories. My daughter, moms, and by here by myself. I became American 2 years and a half ago. You shared this with me. We were in a restaurant talking about these issues and the study and the academy. And what you mentioned through all your answers, it led me to think that you also, more than being helping me, you are one of the kind of Americans who wants to share the land religiously thinking that God gave us with everybody. Also, as I am not a believer, I also think that ethics that we were, like between parentheses, that we were talking about Kant, that ethics
Immanuel Kant, yeah,
are built
he's the godly existentialist, yeah.
are built in our behavior as human beings, and as we of course behave, as we do the right thing, and those ways that you mentioned, those political ways to get citizenships, they are there. They are immigrants with bad intentions. They are immigrants with purpose to get better in terms of economy, their family. This is a nation built from that. I know you are born here and raised here, and you're probably part of the American culture.
Mm-hmm.
This is a culture full of different traits from European, South American, Canadian, Asian. How you could wrap up all the thoughts that we're talking about from your own experience, your family, to the immigration, and how you think it will be the future for immigration or migration from you, yours, your family, and future generations in America?
Well, I can't speculate. The only thing I can say is the background and slice of life, the empirical thought. The way immigration was conducted when the Irish came, when the Italians came, the Europeans, South Americans, there was a pathway, a legal pathway. They contributed, they were glad to be here, and it worked. So what went wrong? What went wrong is the moral breakdown. Greed people entice, take the drugs. Where do they get them from? Well, they happen to be a country where it doesn't have, they're lax in the laws. There's not the bad Colombians, that's baloney. You got bad people. You talk about, oh, some bad Mexicans went across their bad. Oh, really? There's more killers in Chicago, and they're all American citizens. They're shooting each other. What about that? So that's all baloney. You need to people, if you don't know somebody, your concept might be wrong. If you have more dialogue and more interaction, you can appreciate the other person. You gotta talk to each other, you have to be kind to each other. But that is, man's worst enemy is man. So we're born with a sin nature. We're always want the easy way out. You know what I mean? The easy way out. Well, the way to succeed is do the things that you don't like to do, but you know they're better for you. So you're talking about how you get everybody to be buddies and friends. It's not going to happen because of man's in nature. But the people who want that have to insist, hey, let's sit down and talk to each other. You got to speak up. Because you could be guilty by omission. I didn't say nothing. You're just as guilty. You see a crime, somebody's hurt, oh, I ain't telling you, I ain't gonna get in trouble. So my thing is the people who think that we should have more dialogue, get it. I went to they had a Christmas service. They had a rabbi do part of a service, a Catholic priest, they had Protestants, all in the same. It was amazing. You're talking to Jews, you're talking to Catholics, and you could kind of share your things, and you get to understand each other. But if you don't have that dialogue, you're going to speculate, and you can easily be prejudiced. Oh, that guy. Oh, he's from Ecuador. Those are bad people. There's good people in Ecuador and bad people. There's good people in New York and bad people. I don't care where you go, there's good and the bad. People are people. So you can't be so narrowed and prejudiced. That's bad. So how do you do that? More people like me gotta let people know that you are interested in them regardless. You're not bigoted. You listen to them. You understand them. You appreciate them. But you gotta listen. And a lot of people don't listen. Their mind's made up. I got mine. Like I say, what concerns me most is a moral breakdown. It's greed. I want it. I want to be this. I want to be that. It's me, 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 me. And that's to me, that's bad. But the worst thing you can do is be negative. Oh, the world's coming to an end. There'll be more crime in the streets. You have to say, it will get better, it will change, and I'm going to be part of that change. Because if you think you can, or if you think you can, either way, you're going to be right. So my thing is, I'm going to do my best to do what I could do while I'm on this planet. And hopefully, it's like a pebble that you hit a pond with. It's only a little pebble. But you see the ripples it makes? So one person can influence a lot of people. Like who? Like Mahatma Gandhi. He influenced a whole nation. Mahatma Gandhi. You talk about Buddha. People, Mother Teresa. So one person can always make the difference. The thing is, are you willing to do it? And I think another thing too is education is important. Educate people. Okay, today it's very expensive to go to college. Books are a lot more money. But there's one thing more expensive than an education. That's ignorance. What is your next question? Well, the picture doesn't lie.
All right.
You're
we
good,
Finish,
you're
we
good.
finish with this block.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut
Sure.
for a moment.